All right, does everybody see my screen here? Doing a little bit of a different episode today. Nick's out in Ireland, so I'm going solo. We've talked a lot about this guy Leprechaun here, and I think it's about time we do a full episode on him. So what you're about to see is a Leprechaun retrospective. I've seen all 8 movies. Um, if you watch this episode, it'll be like you've seen them all, and you'll never have to watch them. So enjoy. I'm going to start off with some history and facts, beginning with Leprechaun, 1993. This horror comedy franchise spans 25 years. 6 of the 8 films star the great Warwick Davis. First 2 films were theatrically released, but after a disappointing release of Leprechaun 2, the rest went direct to video. It's a long transition. There only 2 films share the same director, Brian Trenchard Smith. That's Lep 3 and 4. Okay, spin one. Only 2 actors appear in more than one movie. That's Warwick Davis and Mark Holton, who plays Ozzy. We'll talk more about Ozzy later. In February 2023, franchise creator Mark Jones told Den of Geek that he and Warwick have discussed adapting the franchise for television, and he liked the idea of the Lep in the Wild West. We're in the facts section now. If you didn't, actually, is that a fact? I guess that never happened. In July 2023, The Hollywood Reporter announced that Lionsgate is rebooting the franchise again with Felipe Vargas directing. You might know Felipe as the director of Diamantino. Here's a first look here, actually, on Lep in the West. All right, and now, what's the objective for the rest of this presentation here? So it's going to be talk about Leprechaun. Here he is. So we're going to talk about Leprechaun. I'm going to take a approach here that I'm going to define in this slide. We're going 8-1, so least favorite to favorite. We're going to talk stats. We're going to give some key call outs. We're going to give it a score. There he is. And starting off with Leprechaun Origins. So Leprechaun Origins, coming in number 8 on the list. 2014, directed by Zach Lepovsky. It's got a 1.4 average with 10,000 viewers on Letterboxd. Just a couple key callouts. It's more like a zombie ape, really, than a leprechaun. Excuse me. That's probably my biggest complaint with it. So not really a leprechaun. It stars Brandon Fletcher of the Revenant, Freddy vs. Jason, and Air Bud fame. It's a 1-star movie, horrible leprechaun movie, not quite a half a star horror movie. So I really did think that was an important distinction to make. Like this could be worse as a horror movie. I think Jason Goes to Hell. Jason Goes to Hell is a worse horror movie also. But yeah, I don't have a lot of other notes on this one. It is seriously bad. And it's not like a so bad it's good kind of thing, like some of these other movies are going to be. This is actually really bad. The Lep is actually played by a professional wrestler, but you'd really have no idea because he has zero personality in the entire movie. He's just this zombie creature chasing him around. Yeah, I really don't want to spend a lot of time on this one. So that's Leprechaun Origins. Dylan Hogswoggle Postal plays the titular character. Coming at number 7, we got Leprechaun in the Hood, 2000, directed by Rob Spera. Got a 2.2 average with 28K viewers on Letterboxd. There's a couple key callouts here. Guy gets killed with a hair pick. And a lot of rhymes in this one. A whole lot of rhymes. And actually, kind of the history here is, the one before this was Lep in Space. Not a lot of rhymes. That was a big complaint. So I think this one, they maybe overcompensated a bit. Too many rhymes. It's a 1-star movie. Just watch the ending. It's got a good ending. And I really mean the last couple minutes. If you've seen it, you'd know. So go check that out. Icy gets shot twice in the chest in this movie by the same guy. Survives both times. This is my only rewatch of the series. I think it was a lot funnier in high school for some reason. Not as funny now. Like I mentioned before, yeah, a whole lot of rhymes. There's some lines in this movie I can't even repeat or make funny at all. There's just no saving them. I did add a half a star for the ending. Other than that, this movie is horrible. I actually felt bad rewatching it. Like, it was actually depressing to me that this was the one rewatch. It's a real, like, never meet your heroes kind of moment with this one. But that's Leprechaun in the Hood coming in at number 7. Coming in at number 6, we got Leprechaun, the original Leprechaun, 1993, directed by Mark Jones. Got a 2.4 average with 93K viewers. Some key callouts. This is Jennifer Aniston pre-Friends. So maybe that's the reason to check this out. You want to see what she was like before Friends. You know, she's the star of the show. I don't think it had found its way yet. It hadn't really carved out the path that they were going to take this franchise on. And because of that, I just don't think this is a big hit. I think this is a big miss. There's a guy, Ozzy, in this. He'll come up again later. He's a guy with a mental disability, and there's a question from a younger fella in the group of maybe the Lep's gold that they steal could help fix his brain. I mean, that's the kind of film we're talking about here. It's there's not much else to say, and I do think you have to watch it first because it sets the tone for the whole franchise, but it really is the 6th best. And I said it here at the bottom. It's a 1.5 star. I rarely disrespect the original in a series like this. I think I actually feel quite bad about this, is that I usually just give it its proper respect because it created the rest. Like, how could you say this is the 6th best Leprechaun movie? It created the franchise, you know? So I totally understand that. But in this ranking you're seeing here today, I have to put it where I think it needs to be, and that's at number 6. Number 5, we got Leprechaun 3, 1995 film directed by Brian Trenchard Smith. Got a 2.6 average with 25K viewers. A couple key call-outs here. He goes to Vegas. This is the first one that went direct to video. And I think the rest of them all went direct to video after this one. It's a 2-star. I know it's a favorite of people. Like, people really like this one. So that makes me question like where I have it in the ranking, to be quite honest. So this is also Warwick's favorite, which is surprising, you know. He did 6 of them. This is Warwick's favorite one. And people really like it. But I think maybe I was just coming off of Lep 2. I might have watched Lep 2, you know, on a Monday night and this on a Tuesday. And I just couldn't get into it because I think Lep 2 is just a superior film. Interesting thing to note here, in the first 2 films, Warwick is cast as the Leprechaun. In this one, he's cast as Lubden. And then the 4th one is just called Leprechaun again. So, yeah, I don't know. Let me just give you some of the opening plot. You know, maybe just this, if I read you this from Wikipedia, just the opening plot, you'll understand kind of what I'm talking about here. It's quite a complicated plot too. This is just one piece of like an interconnecting, like it's like Pulp Fiction, which, you know, this came out 2 years prior. But let me read this for you. So this is the setup. So in Las Vegas, someone with a missing body parts. Wait, I got to start over. In Las Vegas, someone with missing body parts sells a statue of a leprechaun to a pawn shop owner, Gupta. The statue has a medallion around its neck, which Gupta removes despite being warned not to. As Gupta examines a pot of gold coins found with the statue, the leprechaun Lubden comes to life and attacks him. Seeing the medallion, Lubden flees into the back of the shop with his pot of gold, dropping a coin in the process. Gupta sees a computer program on Irish folklore which says that a leprechaun's coin will grant the holder one wish and that their power resides in the gold. After realizing he is missing a coin, Lubden tricks Gupta into putting away the medallion, then beats and kills him. I don't know why I didn't like this one that much. I wanted to give it another go, honestly, because I know this is a favorite. And when I saw that it was Warwick's favorite, I really questioned myself, because who to be a better judge of the franchise than the man himself? They took these movies off Amazon Prime. That was one reason I watched them in the first place, because pretty much all of them were on there. So I wasn't able to view it again. Coming in at number 4, we got Leprechaun Back to the Hood. 2003, directed by Stephen Arome Louis. Got a 2.1 average with 15K viewers. A couple key call-outs. I think it's underrated. I think it's probably my pick for most underrated in the franchise with that 2.1 average. Stars Paige Kennedy. It's her boy right here. You might remember him from Vine. I'm giving it 2 stars. Still a bad movie. It does open with a leprechaun battling a priest on a construction site. That was cool. But really night and day between this one and Lep in the Hood. Yeah, Lep in the Hood is truly bad. This one at least is just something. So I think that's probably why it's higher up on the list. Great sequence when they're spending the gold. It's really like Scorsese level filmmaking when they're really balling out there with the Lep's gold. And then an incredible Lep death to cap off this movie also. You really got to see it to appreciate it. It's going to be hard for me to describe. Coming in at number 3, we got Leprechaun 4 in Space, 1997, directed by Brian Trenchard Smith, his second entrance to this list. Got a 2.0 average with 22K viewers. A couple key callouts. So bad it's good. This is definitely the first one on this list that fits that category. You know, I have a list on my Letterboxd account there that says so bad it's good, and this is one of them. It's in space. It's a 2-star, almost dreamlike. I'm a big fan of going to space, honestly. Never, ever been opposed to sending a character to space. Jason X, incredible. I might have to do a separate episode for the Friday the 13th fans out there, but Jason X, an incredible take on this plot device. One thing I really love is that he's just there right away, and he's just still up to the same old stuff, you know? Like he just gets dropped into space, no explanation. No recap, no like storybook opening type thing like they've done in the other ones. But he's just up to the same old stuff. He's trying to make a girl his bride. He's got a one-track mind. It's like a really can't teach an old dog a new trick kind of moment, you know? But there's really 2 key moments. There's 2 key moments in here for me in this movie that really make this movie special. One is, you know, they're driving a spaceship, the humans. There's humans here to save the girl the leprechaun stole. So the ship of the humans is driving, and it hits like a little bump, you know. It's not a smooth landing, and you see, like, it's weird, the main character's dialogue kind of cuts out, and you can see their mouth moving, but there's no audio, and somebody's snips in a joke over it, you know. Some studio head decided that it was missing a joke. You can see the actor's lips still moving, but basically what happens is the ship, it comes to an abrupt stop, and everybody shakes, and then you hear somebody's voice cut in. Who's driving this, Ray Charles? And I like that. That was a good joke. The second one, actually, I like even more is a big firefight. Really getting bad, really getting dicey. Guns, all kinds of stuff up there in space, and a grenade is thrown. And the Lep has to make a split-second decision. And you really never see this side of him, you know? You feel like you know him up to this point in the franchise, but this is when you really see, like, he's willing to put his life on the line. And he actually dives on the grenade and explodes, saving the girl that he's kidnapped, which I thought was just incredible. And if you've seen the franchise, you know, a grenade's not going to stop our boy, Warwick. He quickly regenerates, as we all saw coming. Not actually really sure how to kill him. You never find that. I've seen all 8. I'm actually not sure which is the best method to get rid of him, because he always kind of crawls back. He's got a lightsaber at one point in this one. I think that's cool. Really just a lot of weird, cool sci-fi stuff in this one. So I'm a fan. I'd recommend it. All right, coming in at number 2, we got Leprechaun Returns. So this is 2018, directed by Steven Kostanski. I'm sure you're surprised seeing a 2018 entrant up at number 2, but believe it, because this is a good movie. It's got a 2.6 average, which is high. Got some supporting materials in the back of this presentation that will show you that compared to the other movies. We got 13K viewers on this, so, you know, get out there and see it. A couple key callouts. It's probably the only way you could have done this without Warwick Davis. I will give them that. It's hard. It's big shoes to follow. And this is probably the best take on it I think you could do without just copying it 1-to-1. It's a true sequel to the first one, which I think is cool. Like, it basically, it's the only one that has a returning character other than Warwick, which is Ozzy. I think I mentioned that earlier. But you could, I think, watch it just like back to back. Like, you could probably watch the first one and then watch this one just as a sequel, because it really is a follow-up, like same house. Like, so I actually really liked that part of it. It was actually enjoyable. I really did like this. At 2.5 star, I would have given it a 3 and a heart with Warwick. So I thought it was a great story. So this is really my only, tough part with it, with this movie is I just wish Warwick would have come back and done this. I mean, it's really no disrespect to Mr. Porco there, the guy who plays the Leprechaun, but how incredible could it have been with Warwick? Because it's a great story. It's just done well. It's probably the worst movie I've ever rewound multiple times. At one point, ass baggins is used as an insult. Really shots fired all over the place. Major brands, Prius, Crocs, David Blaine. I think the line that the Leprechaun uses to defame the Crocs brand was he's in someone's room and he finds a pair of Crocs and he takes one, he throws it across the room into the waste bin and says, I'd be doing fashion a favor getting rid of this one. There's actually a scene where a guy gets sliced in half with a solar panel, and then his girlfriend trips, stumbles, face plants into the body. That was something I hadn't seen before. Love the return of Ozzy. I mentioned it a couple of times now, but the fact that he got him back for this is great. Great character from the first one. He's the one who the gold is going to be used to help fix his brain, which I'm supportive of, if I didn't make clear earlier. They found a way to work in the could be a crackhead who got hooked on the wrong stuff, that Tosh Point joke. So they worked that in, and it's funny. They do it in a way that's funny. It wasn't like it's like when the brands catch on to the stuff that but no, it was good. Yeah, so that's number 2, Leprechaun Returns. Coming in at number 1. This is probably a surprise to my avid Lep fans out here, because I don't know if this would be considered one of the best, but it's my favorite. This is Leprechaun 2, 1994, directed by Rodman Flunder, household name. It's got a 2.3 average with 30,000 views. Couple key call-outs. There's some new rules in this one. You think I should read them? I was going to put this into the document, but I forgot. Just kind of taking the steam out of this a little bit, but I do think it's important. So a couple new rules in this one. If a Lep makes you sneeze 3 times, you have to marry him. The Lep takes a lot of damage from wrought iron. And look that up, because I had to. If you're holding a piece of Lep gold, you cannot die. So those are the new rules that I mentioned. One shot is kind of like Goodfellas. I'll let you be the judge of which one. I give it a 2.5 star. Checks all the boxes for what this series could be. I thoroughly enjoy it. I would like to watch it again. One of my favorite things that happens in these movies is the main character is often trying to convince the other characters that they just saw a leprechaun. And you get into this situation where you're like, I've seen this before. It's going to be this whole big thing. No one believes him. Oh, I saw a leprechaun. But what's great about these movies is like he just shows up immediately. So there's only like a couple minutes of like, no, come on, man. Like, you didn't see a leprechaun. And then he's there. Which I just think that's great. Just really goes against like what it subverts your expectations. There's actually a part of this one where Morty challenges the Lep to a drinking contest. They're at a bar. Actually, that's where the shot that kind of looks like Goodfellas to me is. It's kind of like De Niro smoking the cigarette, but it's a leprechaun at the end of the bar. So there's a part where Morty, of course, as Morty does, challenges the Lep to a drinking contest, and the Lep gets peer pressured into. I got to start that one over. All right, give me a second take on that one. So there's a part where Morty challenges the Lep to a drinking contest, and the Lep gets peer pressured by the crowd into shoe-nicing a whole bottle of whiskey. That is something that happens here. And he hangs up. He holds up surprisingly well. He's a little lit, but he's not like out of control. And that's my favorite. So now we're gonna just field a couple questions from the audience. Thanks for hanging in here if you're still around. So I'm going to answer these questions. Don't read ahead. I should have had these ones do transitions. I forgot about the transitions on this one. So the first question was, what excites you about the Leprechaun series These questions all came from Nick, by the way. And I think Nick's girlfriend added one in there. So thanks, Nick. What excites you about the Leprechaun series? Why not Gremlins or Trolls or any of the other sillier movie monsters? Well, thanks for asking that. I think what's most enticing to me about the Leprechaun franchise is the fact that 6 out of the 8 movies were free on Amazon Prime, free to stream. I did have a history with this franchise after seeing it as a young lad. And I just think movies like this are fun to watch because they're just mindless. Sometimes you have a busy day at work and you want to unwind and, watch some reality TV or whatever. This is my reality TV. I'm not always in the mood for something that gets me thinking, I'm not always checking out the French New Wave, Remember when they had that new wave? I actually think this is actually a better franchise than something like Friday the 13th because it's really funny. Friday the 13th is not always funny. There's a couple funny ones. Jason X is funny, but pretty much all these have a couple of good laughs. And you did mention Gremlins. I do like Gremlins as well. Big fan of Gizmo. Number 2, which of the Leprechaun movies would you recommend people watch first? So I would say you got to start with the first one. It just sets the tone for the franchise, and it's Jennifer Aniston pre-Friends, and that's exciting to see. I think you could watch that one and watch Leprechaun Returns 2018. If you're kind of just going for the fun, I would do the first one, the second one, and then maybe do the fourth one, do Leprechaun in Space. But yeah, I would recommend everyone watches them all, is what I'm trying to say. There's not, other than Leprechaun Origins with the zombie ape one, there's not a bad one. You're going to have a good time. Next question. If another Leprechaun movie was greenlit today and given $100 million budget by a major studio, who would you want to direct and star in it? Now, that's a great question. It's got to have Warwick. And it needs a director who respects the franchise. So it's the same way that Fede Alvarez was brought in for Alien Romulus and brought a great respect for the franchise. If they were to reboot it with a $100 million budget, I would expect the same treatment. And then as far as who can star in it, put as many young and up-and-coming stars in it as you want. The more no names, the better. But it needs Warwick, and it needs a director who's going to respect what a great franchise it is. Is there a particular Leprechaun story that you'd like to see next? Like a Western, an erotic thriller? Well, hopefully the Lep in the West happens. That was a true thing that was out there. I think Lep Takes Manhattan. So if you're a fan of the Friday the 13th franchise, there's an awful entrant where Jason goes to Manhattan and actually spends most of the movie on a boat to Manhattan. So you think it's going to be him, walking through Times Square, chopping up Elmo, but no, it's him clinging on to a steamship for about an hour, 20 minutes. But Lep Takes Manhattan, that is something I could be interested in. But I wouldn't want any other genre other than horror. That's for sure. I think when they did take it away from the horror comedy with Lep Origins, it was awful. And I just don't think this movie works in any other way other than what it is. So Lep Takes Manhattan would be my choice. And last question, thoughts on the CGI dwarfs in Snow White? I didn't see the movie. My take would be replace them all with CGI versions of Warwick Davis and solve all problems. Here's the final ranking. Lep 2 coming in at number 1. Lep Returns coming in at number 2. Lep 4 in Space at number 3. Leprechaun Back to the Hood at number 4. Leprechaun 3 at number 5. Leprechaun the Original Leprechaun at number 6. Leprechaun in the Hood, number 7. And Leprechaun Origins at number 8. We're going to get into some appendix slides. And I will send this deck out after. Just a couple graphs. You can see my score versus the Letterboxd score. So I think my score is the red one here. So you see, I'm not too far far away. I guess In the Hood, I'm not as much of a fan as others, and same with the original. That'd be the data that jumps out to me here. Here's kind of a variance chart. I think it's actually saying the same thing that I just told you, but it's just kind of a different way to look at it. So you got the year, you got the letterbox score, you got my score, and the variant. So the big one would probably be In the Hood. In the original, like I just said on the slide prior. I don't remember what this one was. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Check these movies out. Nick will be back next week. I promise you'll never have to watch anything like this again.